Hello, thanks for clicking. Welcome to another Knowledge Math production. Today we're going to be talking about multiples. Okay? Multiples sounds like multiplication. And yes, multiplication definitely has something to do with this. Hopefully you remember. But here we go. Let's take a look. Okay? So here's what we're going to look at today, multiples. And let's get started. So multiples. A multiple is any number obtained by multiplying other numbers together. So what do I mean by that? Well, if I take 3 times 0, I get 0. 3 times 1 is 3. 3 times 2 is 6. 3 times 3 is 9. 3 times 4 is 12. All these numbers that I got after I multiplied, 0, 3, 6, 9, and 12, are all multiples of 3. In order to get them, 3 is being multiplied by some other number. Okay? Any number has an infinite amount of multiples. You could do this forever, right? We could just keep multiplying numbers. 3 times 5, 15 is a multiple of 3. 3 times 6, 18 is a multiple of 3. 3 times 7, 21 is a multiple of 3, etc., etc., etc. Okay, so these numbers are all considered to be multiples. So now, here's a couple things to remember about multiples. 0 is a multiple of every number, right? Because any number times 0 will be 0. So 0 is always an answer in multiplication. So 0 is always a multiple. And every number is a multiple of 1 and itself. So any number times 1 is that number. So 7 times 1 is 7. 7 is a multiple of itself, okay? 5 times 1 is 5. 5 is a multiple of itself because 5 times 1 is 5, all right? Any number times times 1 is itself. 10 times 1, that's 10. So 10 is a multiple of 10. 5 is a multiple of 5. 7 is a multiple of 7, all right? So those are some things to think about as well. Okay, common multiples. When you compare numbers, sometimes they're compared by their common multiples or multiples that the numbers have in common. Okay, this is probably where you remember multiples from. We usually talk about least common multiple, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes. So if I want two common multiples of 4 and 10, well, I could start making a list and multiplying some numbers. So 4 times 1, that's 4. 4 times 2, that's 8. I forgot 4 times 0, that's 0. 4 times 3, that's 12. 4 times 4, that's 16. All right. And then if we have 10 times 0, that's 0. 10 times 1, that's 10. 10 times 2, that's 20. 10 times 3, that's 30. 10 times 4, that's 40. Okay, so 0 is a common multiple, right? Shows up for both. And then another common multiple, we don't have any here, 4, 8, 12, 16, 10, 20, 30, 40. But if we go multiply 4 one more time, 4 times 5 is 20. There's a common multiple. Both of them multiply and get 20. So 0 and 20 are both common multiples of 4 and 10. The least common multiple of a set of numbers is the common multiple that has the lowest value, but not 0. Okay? 0 doesn't count. All right? That's not 0. Okay? That's my least common multiple. Otherwise, this finding the least common multiple thing would be pretty easy. Okay? You can't use 0. All right. So find the least common multiple of 4 and 9. Okay, so let's start multiplying. I'm not going to start at 0 because 0 doesn't count. 4 times 1 is 4. 4 times 2 is 8. 4 times 3 is 12. 4 times 4 is 16. 4 times 5 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. I'll stop there. Let's go to 9. 9 times 1 is 9. 9 times 2 is 18. 9 times 3 is 27. I'm looking for a number that these two multiply in common to be. 9 times 4 is 36. Well, I'm already over 24, and none of these match these, so I got to keep going on the 4s. 4 times 7 is 28. 4 times 8 is 32. 4 times 9 is 36. Hey, there we go. 36. The least common multiple is 36. It's the first number that both the 4 and the 9 can be multiplied to get, and it's not 0. Now, you might be saying, hey, well, why can't I just do 4 times 9? Well, 36 is a common multiple of 4 and 9, but it doesn't have to be the least common multiple. And I can give you a good example of when it doesn't work. What if I wanted the least common multiple of 4 and 10? If I do 4 times 10, that's 40. But we just found a common multiple on the last slide. The slide before it. Well, 20, right? 4 times 5 is 20, and 10 times 2 is 20. So you have to be a little bit careful. There's no guarantee that just multiplying these numbers is going to give you the least common multiple. It will give you a multiple, a common multiple, but maybe not the least one. So you do have to check. So the least common multiple of 4 and 10 is 20, not 40. All right? Okay, so last one. It's a multiple choice. Of course, if you take the AccuPlacer or college placement exam, everything will be multiple choice. So we're going to start looking at this. We'll also do strategies as well. Karen has some stickers. The number of stickers she has is a multiple of 2 and 3, but the number is not a multiple of 5. It's not a multiple of 5. How many stickers could she have? All right. So let's take a look. Now, a lot of times you'll be able to use process of elimination to help you, especially if it's multiple choice. You can even usually multiply. You can usually narrow it down to like 2 options, even if you're not sure or haven't done all the math yet. Because remember, you got to do all the multiplying, all the math on your own. So it's better to try to get as close to the right answer as you can without having to do that. So, all right, it's a multiple of 2 and 3. So if it's a multiple of 2, then the number has to be an even number, right? Because 2 times every number is an even number. Well, 63 is an odd number, so that's not going to be the answer. No way. And it says it's not a multiple of 5. Well, every multiple of 5 either ends in 5 or 0. Think about it, right? Every multiple of 5 times any number, the answer will either end in 5 or it'll end in 0. So that means if my number ends in a 5 or a 0, it'll be a multiple of 5. Well, 60 ends in a 0, so that's a multiple of 5. That can't be the answer either. So now I'm down to 2 numbers. It's either 44 or 48, one or the other. Okay? So now you can either multiply, all right? I'd have to do, or you could divide it out, one or the other. So you'd have to do 2 times something to be 44. Well, 2 times 22 is 44, so it works for 2. 3 times something would have to be 44, or you could do 3 into 44. 3 goes into 4 one whole time. Well, 3, that's bring down the 4. 3 goes into 14. No, it's not a whole number, though. It does go in, but it's not a whole number, so that's no good, right? So that doesn't work. So it's got to be 48 then. Okay, 2 times 24, that would be 48. And then 3 times something has to be 48. So 3 into 48. 3 goes into 4 one time. 3 times 1 is 3. 4 minus 3 is 1. Bring down the 8. 3 goes into 18 6 times. So 3 times 16 is 48. So yeah, that must be the answer. The answer is B, 48. All right? Hopefully you got it right. And that's it for multiples. As always, thanks for clicking.